Hello out there. Today we are discussing something very special, and if you pay attention, you will enjoy it. Over a period of 20 years of counseling, I've encountered a whole lot of marriages that were once flourishing, marriages that we termed exemplary, and over a period of time, the joy of that marriage it nosedived simply because of arguments, and the negative energy that comes with it, what it does to marriages. That is what we want to discuss today. How to end arguments in marriage. Very, very important. If you are one that have been squabbling with your partner for seasons on end, if you are one that find it difficult to sit with your partner and agree on issues without first of all antagonizing one another, using caustic language and all sorts of things, this is your time. This is the time for you to sit back and listen to what we have got to say today. How to end arguments in marriage. My name once again is Felix Okeke. I am your marriage counselor and coach, and this is Marriage Without Tears channel. If you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please do so immediately. There's a red button by my side. Click on it and get subscribed. And I believe that after today, you will go back and watch some of the videos we have done before, because we have done several videos, close to 100 of them. Check our videos, and the joy of our ministry will also come into your home. I believe that sincerely. So let's get back to the topic of today. Arguments. How does arguments develop? Arguments develop when we discover that our suggestions, our opinions are no longer valued in a relationship. Arguments can arise when we discover that somehow we are taken for granted. When we discover that somehow what we had to bring as a sacrifice or as a contribution to that marriage is no longer being seen that way. Everything about us is being taken for granted. Arguments come in a marriage when there are unmet expectations. We all go into marriage with lots of expectations, and when these expectations are not met, somehow anger may arise, and from anger you have violence, you have altercations and all the rest of them, and then what follows is argument, unending argument. But I believe that if you can only listen this hour, some of those things that cause you all those arguments, you will learn how to deal with it. Every couple, no matter how good they are, you come from diverse settings and backgrounds. You bring into your marriage all manner of emotional and spiritual baggages that can cause a lot of arguments. But if you are a couple that is wise enough to understand some of the things we are going to say today, you will discover that you will have a way of tackling arguments with actually arguing. So that is what we want to talk about today. Is your marriage hindered? Is your marriage is the joy of your marriage being destroyed by arguments? I want you to listen to me carefully. Number one, if argument has become a daily situation in your marriage, what you have to do, first of all, is to take stock. Take stock, look back, check, do what we call an internal audit, a self-audit, an audit of your marriage. This is a partner that was once joyful. This was a partner that you once trusted. This was a partner that you once rejoiced admitting that you loved his companionship, you loved everything about him or her. But over a period of time, why the sudden change? What brought about this change? You have to sit back. Time has come for you to sit back. Lock your doors. Sit back in your inner room. Begin to meditate concerning your marriage. What has brought it to this very, very particular season? Why is it now a marriage that is torn about by arguments, by quarrels, by squabbles? Why? This is not the way you started. What caused it? Begin to ask yourself those questions. Number one, let us look at your partner, for instance. Is he going through an emotional struggle? Is he going through an emotional struggle? Is there an inner conflict inside of him or her? You have to check it properly. Is he or her going through the pressures of work? For instance, maybe the office duties is tasking and is giving him a lot of pressure. What is the problem? Is him or her involved in a relationship outside of your marriage? That can bring in a lot of guilt, and from guilt he begins to have other things, other vices, other negative energy inside of him, that anytime you raise your voice, he or she counters without thinking. What is the matter? What exactly is the matter? What brought this situation? You have to ask yourself, has he gotten himself involved with negative people? melancholy people, people who have nothing but vices to deliver into the marriage and into his life? Has he gotten himself involved with such people? Negative people. When a man, a woman gets involved with negative people, he brings negative energy into the marriage. And before you know it, he begins to speak or behave in ways he does not used to do before. So what is the problem? What has happened over time? You must begin to think in that realm. Because if you don't understand why certain things are happening in your marriage, getting the necessary remedy will become very difficult. So find out why it is happening. Why is it so? What is happening to him? What is happening to her? What is the pressure? Where is this coming from? You must be able to check that. Then of your own self, you must also ask yourself, am I making the right contributions? Have I been making positive contributions into his life or into her life? In what way have I been promoting the values which he or she treasures? How have I been doing? In what way have I been helping him or her to fulfill whatever he's doing, or the call of God upon his life, or whatever business he's involved in? In what way am I being of assistance? What am I bringing into the marriage table? You must begin to ask yourself that. If you don't ask yourself that, there's a tendency for you to sweep all manner of challenges and all manner of troubles. You sweep it under the carpet, and before you realize it, what follows is argument upon argument and conflict upon conflict. It shall not be so in your own case. I want you to do an internal audit of yourself, an internal audit of your marriage, an internal audit of your entire home, and then you'll be able to understand where this negative energy is flowing into your marriage, and then the remedy will become easier for you to achieve. Very, very important indeed. That's the very first step you must take. The second step you must take immediately is to look at the people around him or her. Look at the influences around him or her. Look at the people he spends most of his time with. She spends most of her time with. Are there people that are relevant to the values you hold sacrosanct as a person or as a family? Are there people who are helping you to become the best you are? Or are there people who are dissipating your energy, your glory? Are there such people? Look around you. Look around you. He that moves with the wife becomes wise, but a companion of fools is quickly destroyed. That is what the scripture said. Therefore, look for people around him. Are they the people that are adding value? Because if you don't check this, I can tell you that one sour apple inside your home, one sour apple in the life of your husband, in the life of your wife, can make all the difference. It can spoil the entire thing. So check very, very well. Who are those people around him or her? Are they the people that are making this marriage better or worse? Are they the people that are bringing in the kind of opinion that will take this marriage to the next level or what? Are they in any way influencing him or her negatively or positively? Check very well. Very, very important indeed. You must do so if you must end all the arguments in your marriage. The third thing you must do for you to end the arguments in your marriage is to check yourself and see whether you are accommodating. Marriage is meant for you to accommodate one another's opinions and suggestions. I have seen great marriages destroyed because their partners are strong-headed. They don't want to give room for compromise. As a man, as a woman, are you giving enough room to absorb the opinion of your partner? Are you welcoming his or her own suggestions? In what way? Because if you don't do that, what you face is intolerance. What you face is all manner of negative influence, negative energy into your marriage. So I want you to check that very well. Check that very well. Because anytime you undermine one's suggestion, opinion, or idea, anytime you undermine one's principle or value, there's a tendency for that person to rise in defense of what he or she believes in. And that can yield a lot of arguments and troubles. You want to end the argument in your marriage, then from now henceforth, make it a duty to accommodate one another's opinion, even as the days go by. Very, very important indeed. If you are yet to subscribe to this channel, do so immediately. There's a red button by my side. Click on it and get subscribed, even as we go on. Do you want to end all the arguments in your relationship? Then you must begin to change your communication style. Change your communication style. You cannot end the argument if your communication is filled with harsh words, if your communication is filled with negative criticisms, if your communication is filled with acerbic words, if your communication is filled with derogatory language. If you must end the argument in your marriage, then you must begin to speak to your spouse with kindness, with love, with compassion, knowing fully well that both of you are on a journey together. And as long as you're on a journey together, there's need for mutual agreement. There's need for you to work together as one, to think as one, to love as one. Because at the end of the day, you are the influence you are the ones that will create the right atmosphere for your children to thrive and to grow as spiritually and emotionally balanced adults. You are those ones. Anytime you see a child referring to somebody outside the home as his or her mentor, it simply means that you as a couple have failed. Because the first point of where a child can point to and say, this is my mentor, should be either the father or the mother. And whereby the child begins to point to another person outside of the home as his or her mentor, it simply means that there is something wrong in both of you. So the exemplary life that you expect your children to live, it comes from you. And it can only come in an atmosphere of love, in an atmosphere of compassion, in an atmosphere of unity. You must begin to change your language. Don't speak to your spouse with a language that signifies disrespect. Don't speak to your spouse in anger. Don't turn down your spouse in the midst of other people. I have seen couples who talk to themselves in very, very uncouth language, even in the midst of strangers. And this is an abomination. It is really an abomination. I have seen couples who talk at each other, who talk down at each other, who do all manner of things and expose their dirty lining, even in the streets. I've seen couples do that. And when you see such a home, believe me, arguments will be a continual occurrence. And if you must end that argument, learn how to speak to your spouse. Learn how to speak with honor. Learn how to speak with dignity. Choose the right time, choose the right atmosphere to convey your opinion, to convey your decisions. Choose the right way, choose the right moment, choose the right time. Communication is the wide thing, and I believe if you can only deal with the area of communication, a whole lot of arguments will disappear in your marriage. Very, very true indeed. This is the way to go. And finally, you want to end the arguments in your relationship. You want to end it right now. Then I want to ask you right now, begin to cut one another again. You must begin to cut again. Do you know what I mean? In those days, anytime you are expecting her to come to your home, what do? You spend the entire Saturday morning cleaning the whole house, making sure that the televisions are clean, the kitchens are clean, everywhere is tidy. Your home is smelling good. You do all manner of things. You perfume your house. Everywhere is looking good. When she enters the house, oh, it's so sweet. It's so wonderful. In those days, you compliment her a lot. At the slightest touch, even when she has gone to the salon to do her, the very first thing you do is to compliment her the hair she has done. You look at her face, you have one or two things to say to encourage her. This is what courtship means. This is what courtship means. And for you, the young lady, anytime your man is coming to your house, oh, you know he loves your food. And you will go all out to make sure that you prepare him the best meal. And when he's eating, you are watching him, you are enjoying him eating. And when he clears the plate, oh, you are full of joy. That is what courtship means. Why have you abandoned that? The moment you begin to cut again, the moment you begin to do those things that you were doing before, that actually endeared both of you to one another, I can tell you that argument will simply disappear on its own. Why don't you learn to cut again? Learn to cut again. You can do it. You can do it. Don't allow all the demands of your time, the demands of your work, the demands of the office and all that, the demands of associations here and there to deprive you this joy. That is the joy of love that bonded both of you in the first place. Learn how to cut again. If you must let go, if arguments must be, if you must disappear from your relationship, learn how to cut again. Do you remember those times you were cutting? How many times have you argued on an issue? Do you remember that sometimes when he visits you and as you are escorting him or her, if her place is closed, before you realize it, you have escorted her down to her gate, the gate of their house, before going back? Do you remember those days? Do you remember those things you used to do? Why don't you begin to do it again? I can tell you that if you learn how to cut again, argument will disappear from your marriage. Certain conflict situations, certain conflict flashpoints, it will simply disappear from your marriage. You can do it. I want you to seize this opportunity and do it. If you can only but do it, you will have a whole lot of testimonies to give me even when we meet next week. So I want you to begin again. Do it again. Don't let friends to shortchange you. Don't let situations to deprive you. Your marriage is joyful. It was joyful the day it was consummated. It still has that potential to be joyful even now. So why don't you dig in and ensure that that joy is retained and even improved upon? I believe that you have learned one or two things from what we said today. And may God continue to put his glory upon you and cause your marriage to flourish in season and out of season to the glory of his name. Before you check out, please, there's a red button by my side. Click on it and get subscribed. And let's do this again next week. Have a wonderful time. God bless you.